Brothers killing brothers, not a chance to talk. Leaving behind hungry children. So much problems, no one to solve them. Black nation still asleep.
1 year of Trump. Hey, come on, hit me. Listen, I have millions of listeners. Many of them just listen and don't get a chance to call in. If you're a first-time caller, call me now, 216-578-1490, 216-578-1490. I want to take some of my first-time callers. White guys can't dance. White guys can't do the Temptations. What's wrong with you?
Man, you don't know. You don't know that, man, okay? That's my favorite music, classic soul, man. Everybody knows that. All my family knows that's my favorite music. Across the city and realize that regardless of your social, economic, your race, your color, your ethnic origin, we're all in this thing together. And when you look at the problems that we're confronted with in our neighborhood, specifically on the east side and the inner and the near west side, it's if we don't look out for one another, 2018 is going to be like 2017, where we hit 130 homicides, God knows how many felonious assaults, robberies, and break-ins, people questioning whether or not they should stay in the city, specifically on the east side, people talking with their feet, as we see what has happened so often, especially with the black middle class talking with their feet, moving out. And if we're going to stabilize our neighborhood, it's going to be because people get engaged, pay more attention than ever before, because, we were promised in 2016 with the issue 32, in 2016 in November, we were promised all this major ramp up in police services in our neighborhoods. Well, we know it didn't happen. It just didn't happen. So 101 police officers retired 2016. The administration only brought on 65 patrol officers in 2017, and that number left through the retirements and attrition. So here we are going into this year. We're down police officers significantly, and we see this carnage that's taking place in our communities with young men with guns who somehow think that makes them a man, where you and we all know it doesn't make you a man. What makes you a man is taking care of your family, going to school, going to work, and trying to be somebody. So I'm concerned about 2018. I'm looking to this administration to come up with a game plan, what they're going to do to safeguard these neighborhoods that have experienced a major uptick in gun-related crime and violence, and then hope that the guy in Washington doesn't cut critical programs that are necessary for our neighborhoods. So I've told people I'm really digging in. I'm digging my heels in more so than ever before, because I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. I've never lived any place else. I was born in Glenville, raised in Collinwood. These sides of my world. That's the only world I know. And what I see happening, I don't like. But I see at the same time all the potential that is in our neighborhoods. We have tremendous potential, but so often we're just written off. Our folks are just written off, and that's got to change. So I'm really looking to our folks to be more organized, more active.
Mike Polensek.
Yeah.
Listen, you're looking for a change, and look, when you talk about change is going to come, listen, if you can change, anybody can change, so there's hope, because we used to consider you the biggest racist in the whole wide world in that ward, Mike Polensek. That's why we used to think of you, even myself. And I don't know what happened. You got struck or something, because you changed, man, and we love you in our community today.
Well, I didn't get struck. People just didn't take the time to know me. If people would have got to know me, they would have found out that I'm a longtime member of the NAACP, that I've been engaged. Again, I'm born in Glenville. But you know what? I tell it like it is. And sometimes people didn't like that. I'm not politically correct. I'm not diplomatic. I tell it like it is. I represent a ward that's 80% African American. And I won this last election with 87% of the vote.
That's remarkable.
It is.
Show me another councilman in the city that has had the kind of support out of the African American community than me. There is none. And that includes a lot of black councilmen.
It's amazing. I agree with you. It's amazing. And if you can change, anything can change, Brother Polensek.
Yes, sir.
So Mayor Jackson says, and he's been saying it for 20 years now almost, he's been saying that we know what the problem is, we just don't do anything about it. So when we're dealing with this crime problem, basically we know what the problem is. Why he don't do nothing about it?
Well, you'd have to ask him that question. You know, I've heard that same line. I've heard that, you know, it is what it is. Well, you know what? The problem is with that, it really ain't cutting it on our neighborhoods. You know, we got to get back to, we got to redefine our priorities. We can't, our priorities in this county, not just the city, are all screwed up. We give money to billionaires for stadiums, for the Cavaliers, the Browns, the Indians. We give money away, and then we see around this poverty and despair. We see Cuyahoga County saying they don't have money to do this. They can't do this. We see RTA talking about major cutbacks, which affect our folks on the east side more than any other place in the city.
I see
in
that.
the county. So we got it, but it's up to our people, and I can't stress that enough. People for so long have been silent, have been quiet. I ask this all the time. Where has the activism gone? Where has the folks that walked and worked to make things better? Where have, you know, well, I guess I could say a lot of them have passed on, but where's the younger people stepping up to the plate? Where are the people with kids who have more to risk and more to lose than anybody? Where are they? I mean, I go to neighborhood meetings. I go to meetings in Glenville. Basically what it is older African-American women. That's who's at the meeting. Where's the men? Where's the men at?
Speak on it. Speak on it, brother.
I mean, I don't hold back, as you know. Unless we get together, unless we stand up, nothing's going to change. It's only going to get worse, and the people who have money, who have what I call spendable income, who have jobs, they're just going to pick up and cut what they've been doing on the east side. So as they're fleeing Mount Pleasant and Lee Harvard and Glenville, sections of Collinwood and Forest Hills, and this flight out to the suburbs, thinking that somehow that they're escaping, or there's some panacea out there. I got news for them. The problems follow. The problems are there. We can't just keep running. Our folks just can't keep running and going in debt with bigger mortgages or more expensive mortgages.
Mike Polensek, we have a question from you from Sam, Melanated Media News.
The question is, in the city of Baltimore recently, the chief of police was fired because the crime rate for 2017, the murder rate, was the highest, I think, in 20 years. Now, we know at the start of 2017, the murder rate was higher than it was in the last 10 years. Do you feel that if there is more consequences to law enforcement and political officials not doing their job, should there be more consequences if the murder rate is a certain number? Well,
I'll give you a better yet. Cleveland now has a distinction of having a higher per capita homicide rate based on population in Chicago and New York. Think about that, man. Higher per capita homicide rate than Chicago. The Justice Department came into Cleveland to investigate and oversee the Cleveland Police Department. Did you see anybody at the top? In the top, you see anybody disciplined? Anybody fired?
No, sir.
Okay,
No,
you're not going to either. You're not going to either. Okay, so at the end of the day, the Justice Department didn't come here so they could visit the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They came here because a Cleveland Police Department was mismanaged, misguided, didn't do what they were supposed to be doing on behalf of the citizens. You know, when a citizen files a complaint against a police officer, it shouldn't have to take 3-4 years. What is that about?
Mike,
that's outrageous.
Mike, go ahead.
I mean, come on, let's get beyond the denial. What has happened here? There's too much denial at City Hall. There's this denial that somehow things are just hunky-dory. Well, they ain't. They're not hunky-dory. And unless we start focusing on what's important, quality of life, making our streets better, improving our school system, providing economic opportunities for our people. You know, I was in Euclid High School yesterday. I was at a Democratic Party function. And I was in Euclid High School, and I'm walking down a hallway in Euclid High School, and I'm looking at all these vocational classrooms, you know, auto shop, this, woodworking, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Oh!
You know, in the day, we used to have all that in Cleveland.
Sure did. Wow.
We don't have nothing anymore. All we got is Max Hayes, and they built it farther out on the west side, so our kids on the east side, what opportunities do they have? Not you. All your listeners know that the majority of our kids ain't going to college.
That's right. But
they have a right to learn a skill.
That's right.
They have a right to be educated so they can take care of themselves. Of course not. We can't have vocational and technical training in the Cleveland school system. Why not?
Lord,
why not?
Mike Polensek.
Yes, Art.
They should have ran you out of town a long time ago.
They couldn't. They can't do it, man. They need a wooden steak and garlic. It ain't gonna work. Okay.
Yeah, they've tried. Sweeney tried. Oh man, they all tried, but they can't do it, brother.
You know why? Because my people are with me.
Yes.
My people have always been with me.
Yes.
People who work with me know how I stand and what I do. I work every day. I come to work every day, man. I'll put my record in public office against anyone who's ever served down there. Anyone who's ever served down there. My attendance record, my legislative record, my commitment to the people on the northeast side. I mean, in this last election, I had the highest percentage victory of any councilman in the city.
No doubt about it. Hey, Councilman, listen, I'm going to let you get back to your dog, but one question I want to ask you. We talked about as far as crime and that as far as the police department is concerned, but listen, Polensek, I'm not going to say you, but when are the politicians going to stop playing that ball game, the same old ball game of giving the same organizations that haven't succeeded in the last 20 years the money, letting them oversee the money, nothing happened? When is that ball going? The lives of our people are at stake.
When it's going to change, just what I said before, until people like yourself and more start asking questions, because what it comes down to, it's not about competency, it's about not what you're doing to improve people's lives, it's about who's a political player, who's loyal politically. That's what's happened in this city. I mean, it's not about taking care of folks, because if they were supposed to be taking care of folks, we wouldn't have a 40-plus childhood poverty rate in this city. Okay? If you look at the poverty rates in these neighborhoods, if you look at the poverty and despair and the number of people that are hurting and families that are hurting, well, wait a minute. The proof is in the pudding. Just what you said. Keep funding the same old folks that are doing the same old thing, which is nothing, okay? But they're political players.
You got too much nerve to be a white man. Turn this little record out so he can walk his dog. Can you hear this, Mike?
I hear it, brother.
Lord have mercy. Sing it to the dog.
God bless you, Art.
God bless you.